Welcome to Timeless Audiobook. None of This Is True, a novel by Lisa Jewell. None of This Is True. A novel by Lisa Jewell is a dark and twisty psychological thriller that explores the blurred lines between truth and deception, friendship and manipulation, fame and privacy. With her signature skill for crafting complex characters and shocking revelations, Lisa Jewell takes readers deep into a disturbing web of secrets that will keep them guessing until the very last page. The story unfolds like a slow-burning fire, building tension with each chapter until it erupts in a finale that leaves you questioning everything you thought you knew. The novel begins on a seemingly ordinary evening at a trendy London restaurant, where popular podcaster Alex Summers is celebrating her birthday. It is also the birthday of Josie Fair, a woman Alex has never met before, yet their lives are about to become dangerously intertwined. Alex is successful, charismatic, and enjoys a loyal following for her podcast series where she interviews women with extraordinary life stories. Josie is reserved, awkward, and invisible in comparison, but fate brings them together when they realize they share the same birthday and were born in the same hospital at first. Their encounter feels like a harmless coincidence, but Josie seems fascinated by Alex's life, her career, her confidence, and her seemingly perfect family. Josie starts following Alex online, listening to her podcasts, watching her social media updates, and eventually orchestrating another chance meeting. When Josie suggests that her own life story would make the perfect subject for Alex's podcast, Alex is intrigued but cautious. Josie claims her life has been filled with struggles, secrets, and pain that would captivate listeners. Against her better judgment, Alex agrees to meet Josie for a recorded interview as Josie begins to share fragments of her past. Her narrative is chilling yet strangely vague. She speaks of an oppressive marriage to a much older man, a lonely upbringing, an emotionally distant mother, and the overwhelming feeling that she has been invisible her entire life. Josie describes how she has long felt like a ghost in her own existence, unnoticed and unloved. Alex, both fascinated and unnerved, starts recording episodes centered on Josie's life, titling the series I'm Your Birthday Twin as a playful nod to their unusual connection. But as their conversations deepen, the line between Josie's version of reality and the actual truth becomes increasingly blurred. Josie's stories are fragmented, sometimes contradictory, and always tinged with an unsettling undertone. Alex begins to suspect that Josie is not being entirely honest, yet she also can't shake the feeling that there is a sinister reality beneath the surface. Meanwhile, Alex's own life begins to unravel in ways she never expected. Alex is married to Nathan, a charming yet unreliable man with whom she shares 2 young children. On the outside, they appear to have an enviable life filled with success, love, and stability, but cracks are forming beneath the glossy exterior. Nathan's drinking, his infidelities, and his volatile temper have created tension within their home. As Alex invests more time into Josie's story, her marriage faces greater strain, but she justifies it as part of her professional commitment to the podcast. Josie, meanwhile, becomes more deeply entangled in Alex's world. She starts showing up unexpectedly near Alex's home, befriends Alex's neighbors, and insinuates herself into the background of Alex's social media posts. At first, it feels like overenthusiasm from a fan, but soon it borders on obsession. Josie seems to know more about Alex than she ever shared, and details of Alex's personal life begin to appear in Josie's retellings. The chapters alternate between Alex's present-day perspective and fragments of interviews from the podcast, creating a tense dual narrative where readers only see glimpses of the whole truth. As the podcast episodes gain traction and listeners become invested in Josie's story, Alex's anxiety deepens. She starts receiving anonymous messages, unsettling packages, and veiled threats, all of which seem to point toward Josie. But Josie remains elusive, always playing the part of the victim, spinning her own version of events. As Alex digs deeper, she learns disturbing details about Josie's past. Josie's marriage to Walter, her much older husband, was far more complex and troubling than she initially claimed. There are rumors of neglect, emotional abuse, and even allegations of Josie's involvement in questionable incidents concerning their 2 daughters, Erin and Ava. But Josie deflects, portraying herself as a victim trapped by circumstance. Alex's Concerns escalate when she learns that Josie's daughters have distanced themselves from their mother. Erin, the older daughter, is reclusive and protective of her privacy, while Ava refuses all contact with Josie. As Alex attempts to contact them for corroboration, the lines between journalist and subject blur dangerously. Alex is drawn into Josie's unstable world, questioning her own safety and the ethical boundaries of her podcast. Meanwhile, Josie's behavior grows more erratic. She shows up uninvited to Alex's home, manipulates situations to her advantage, and reveals knowledge of intimate details that Alex never shared publicly. The police become involved when a shocking act of violence occurs, leading to Walter's mysterious disappearance. Josie claims she fled her husband's controlling grasp, but inconsistencies in her story suggest a far more sinister possibility. Alex is trapped between her journalistic curiosity and her growing fear that Josie is capable of far more than manipulation. Despite mounting red flags, Alex feels compelled to continue the podcast series, driven by the addictive nature of Josie's story and the soaring listener engagement. But fame comes at a cost, and the closer Alex gets to uncovering the truth, the greater the threat to her family and her own life. The tension peaks when Josie disappears, leaving behind cryptic clues and audio recordings that paint conflicting portraits of her life. Some depict her as a victim of abuse and neglect, while others suggest calculated deceit and dangerous instability. Alex becomes the target of online harassment. Tabloids swarm her home, and her once loyal listeners begin to question her integrity. The public fascination with Josie's story spirals into chaos as conspiracy theories flood social media. As the police investigation intensifies, new evidence emerges connecting Josie to a series of disturbing events, including unsolved crimes and psychological manipulation of those closest to her. Alex faces a moral dilemma. Should she expose Josie's lies and risk her own safety, or protect herself by severing ties and abandoning the podcast? But Josie has ensured that walking away is not so simple. The novel reaches its climax in a chilling confrontation where Alex finally uncovers the full extent of Josie's deception. Josie's past reveals a pattern of manipulation, obsession, and a calculated desire to infiltrate the lives of others. She has reinvented herself countless times, crafting new identities and narratives that serve her twisted sense of control. Alex realizes that she is merely the latest in a long line of targets Josie has pursued under the guise of friendship. In a final act of desperation, Josie orchestrates a shocking event that leaves Alex's family reeling. The boundaries between truth and fiction collapse entirely as Alex struggles to protect her children and salvage her career. The media frenzy reaches a boiling point, and Alex is forced to confront the reality that her pursuit of fame has made her vulnerable to the darkest corners of human behavior. The novel concludes with a haunting ambiguity that leaves readers questioning what is real and what is fabricated. Lisa Jewell masterfully blurs the lines between truth and perception, reminding us that even the most captivating stories may hide dangerous intentions. None of This Is True is a gripping exploration of obsession, deceit, and the price of exposure. In a world where everyone is watching throughout the novel, Lisa Jewell weaves themes of identity, vulnerability, and the dangers of oversharing in the digital age. The character of Josie embodies the chilling reality that not all victims are innocent, and not all storytellers are trustworthy. Alex's journey highlights the seductive nature of fame and the ethical minefield of exploiting personal trauma for public consumption. The audiobook format adds an immersive layer to the experience, with the podcast episodes interwoven into the narrative, creating a sense of voyeuristic tension. Listeners feel like participants in the unraveling mystery, drawn deeper into the psychological chess match between Alex and Josie. None of This Is True is a cautionary tale for the social media era, where curated personas mask dangerous truths and the quest for recognition can open the door to unimaginable threats. Lisa Jewell delivers an unflinching look at how easily reality can be manipulated and how quickly trust can become a weapon. The novel leaves an unsettling impression long after the final chapter, reminding readers that sometimes the most captivating stories are the ones we should fear the most. With its expertly paced plot, morally complex characters, and relentless psychological tension, None of this is true cements Lisa Jewell's reputation as a master of domestic suspense. It is a chilling exploration of the power of narrative, the fragility of identity, and the terrifying consequences of letting the wrong person into your life for fans of gripping thrillers, unreliable narrators, and stories that peel back the facade of modern life to reveal the darkness beneath. None of This Is True is a must-listen audiobook that will keep you hooked until its shocking conclusion.